Hello, it's Monday, April 21st, 2025. This is the SOS show with James Lott Jr. I'm James Lott Jr., Super Organizer. Once again, coming to you live from Los Angeles, California. And I have a great guest. But before I introduce my guest, of course, I always do my thanks and gratitude. And I want to give thanks and gratitude today to my roofing company. We finally finished the roof. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Shout out to Leo and Israel and all of them out there who every step of the way told me everything, very transparent. It's New House Roofing here in Glendale, or is it Burbank? One of two. New House Roofing. They're great. I'll put it in the description. But they are so wonderful, and they every step of the way, and told the truth, and was right there when they said they're going to be there, and cleaned up after themselves. Oh, I'm in gratitude for that. Woo, made actually cleaned up better than I did in my yard. And I have a beautiful new roof, and I am in gratitude of that because no more water, no more having to build an ark. It was crazy a couple months ago, as you guys know. That ordeal is over. Now I got to deal with the stuff inside the house, the damage inside the house, but at least I have a roof, so I live in gratitude of that. So thank you for that. My guest, as we're doing my season 10 of this show and heading towards 500 episodes. I can't believe it. I'm like, I'm only 25. No. I don't know how this happened. I found somebody online. I was like, I gotta get her now while she's hot. It's hot. Coming from the Midwest. I love my Midwest folks. So folks, my last episode I talked about, well, 2 episodes ago, I talked about Chat GPT and how my friend said, I organized my closet with it. I was like, what? Well, somebody actually does. This person, she has many hats: a marketer, a consultant, a strategist, a content creator. I mean, that's just a few of the things that she does. Her YouTube channel, I'm telling you guys, I'll put it in the description. Jenna Redfield's Optimize Your Life. But she has stuff on all kinds of things. But we're going to focus on the one thing that grabbed me that was number one on Google when I looked up ChatGPT and organizing. I feel like my community is not talking about it enough. They're talking about the back end, but not the front end of this. So I'm glad to have her on. She's from Minnesota, which I love Minnesota. That's where my family's from.
Oh, nice.
And yes, they are from Minnesota. I love my grandmother and all them. Help me welcome Jenna Redfield. Hi,
Thanks for
Jenna.
having me.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for doing this. Um,
Yeah.
so just to start this off, I I posted my video and my show 2 weeks ago on ChatGPT and how my friend said she used it and how she used it. And I asked my community, I go, because I'm part of several organizations, I'm like, should we be talking about this? And I'll tell you something, only one person responded, and it was negative.
Mm.
But the rest kept silent. Though my episode, my higher rated episodes, because that is a hot thing right now, Jenna. I mean,
It
ChatGPT, I mean,
is.
all the AI stuff is all big right
Mm-hmm.
now.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I looked you up. That's how I found you. You came up first on the page, all your stuff. And I have friends in the business who talk about ChatGPT in terms of like it helps me create blog posts or it helps me
Mm-hmm.
create like that. But you're saying, and my friend said too, you can actually use it and use it, correct?
Yes. So what I did was I have used it for a lot of different things. And every day I try to challenge myself with thinking of a new thing to use it for. If I'm ever stuck on anything, my first thought, which I don't know if this is good, is probably a crutch at this point, but I'm like, how can I use ChatGPT to help me?
Right.
And it's so I've done so many different things. I was just saying, like, I using it to help me plan my skincare routine, like literally all these things that I would spend probably hours Googling or searching in the past. Now I can get answers immediately, which I think is the biggest benefit is the speediness. So one of the things that I did was I moved into this townhouse a couple years ago and I just kind of put things in places and then just let it go. And then I was thinking about it and I was like, wait, how can I use ChatGPT to help me make my house look better? Just like, so I just took a picture. It actually started with my fridge magnets. I think I talked about that in the video. I had this really, really chaotic fridge with a bunch of magnets and like there was some Christmas cards and there was just some stuff. And I just went, you know what? I'm going to take a photo of this and ask ChatGPT, how can I make this look better? What's cool about ChatGPT now is you can add images,
Yeah.
and it can also produce images. I recently upgraded a couple months ago to the paid version, so it's $20 a month, which basically means you don't hit those limits all the time like you do in the free plan. But I took a picture of it, and then it told me like where to move things to make it look more cohesive. And I did that and I showed it before and after. And then I was like, oh my gosh, wait, why don't I do this for the rest of my house? So I started going to different zones. I did literally this bookcase behind me. I did this bookshelf. I actually sorted all of my books based off the Dewey Decimal System, which I'd always wanted to do. And so that was very helpful because I was like, I don't know the Dewey Decimal System, but like ChatGPT does. So no, all my books are organized in a way that I can like find them and they're like similar to each other. It's almost like a library.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally done like so many, and then I'll ask ChatGPT like, what should I organize this with? Like what container, what storage thing should I buy to organize myself? So again, I don't want to put like organizers out of a job, but it's like also, helpful for me as someone who it's like I didn't have to spend any money to just reorganize the things I already owned. I moved things around to different rooms, and it was just very, very helpful for it to kind of keep track of the items I owned and just be like, this would look better and more aligned.
I look at it as I'm looking at it, yeah, because that's I think the person who was negative said that kind of. But
Mm,
my thing is, I look at it this way: there are just plenty of work to go. So just my organizers, trust me, there are people who need you physically in their life.
yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
This is
that's
just for
not,
me. This is like basic organ. This is just more reorganizing. But like, if I had a ton of stuff, like that would definitely need someone to come in and help. And it's like that's not something a lot of people want to do themselves for sure.
yes, and that's why I say that. I'm glad you said because I say I think it's for the person who is motivated themselves, who doesn't
Hmm.
need someone for a smaller task. I
Hmm.
think this could help in certain ways. And but see, you're so smart. I love it. I saw like you're like, okay, folks, I'm going to share with you how I did this and what I do.
Hmm.
Follow along. So I think that's where I was impressed by you. I was like, okay, she's actually because I'm curious too. Because I'm going to ask a couple of questions while we're doing this.
Hmm.
Folks, don't give everything away because I want you to go to her
Yeah.
and look it up. But I do much, but no, but I know I'm glad. But I want to get back to the thing of yes, we're not just saying. I think nowadays, even I'm warming up to it a little more. A lot of the AI stuff, there's some stuff that's really good in a pinch.
Hmm.
It's good. And so, like you said, you're like, I'm sitting in my house and I have an hour. This shelf is bothering me.
Yes.
Call an organizer for that. But you don't have to
Yeah.
call. I mean, call an organizer. Like, help me for an hour. Like,
Yeah.
and so in a way, is Chat GPT replacing Google? That's like
Yes.
more. That's probably more
Yes.
right.
I 100% believe that. And actually, they've done some research lately that's like in the last couple of weeks where they're like, certain websites have actually lost traffic because people are going to ChatGPT over Google. And also, Google's kicking themselves in the butt because they have the AI answers at the top for Gemini. And so it's like now people aren't actually like SEO in and of itself is extremely effed up right
Yes,
now.
right.
And I feel like, but what's interesting though about ChatGPT is I actually had someone comment on one of my YouTube videos that they actually searched ChatGPT and they suggested my video as a result. So it's like, so people are looking for videos
Yes,
and then Google does crawl YouTube, or sorry, ChatGPT crawls YouTube. And
yes.
so my video was one of the search results. She
I
clicked
know.
on it and watched the video and said ChatGPT sent me. So it is like a replacement search engine at times for instead of it'll actually tell you what it thinks is the best results versus just choose your own adventure on Google, which is like here's our top, but
Right.
it's like it's actually telling you like these are the ones that I recommend.
Yeah.
Another thing I do want to talk about, which I haven't really seen a lot of content on, is deep research, which is an option within ChatGPT. You get, I think, 10 a month on the paid plan, but basically usually ChatGPT gives you kind of basic answers. You can actually ask it to do much deeper research on what's currently happening now. So that's really helpful for me. Like as I'm creating content, I'm like, I really want you to, audit my own YouTube channel, figure out what videos did well, and then also what is trending right now. So that actually helped me kind of create an upcoming content calendar, not just based off of, hey, create a content calendar for me. It's actually looking deeper into the analytics of what's charting right now. And I was like, I think a lot of business owners can utilize this in a way that they can get ahead of trends.
That you just gave me an idea. All right, girls. I'm like,
Yeah.
folks, I'm learning too. Just gave me an idea. I'm like, well, no, because here's something, folks. I'll admit this at home. So I was fighting it.
Mm,
I'm also part. I'm also in the media world. So
hmm.
I was marching. I'm part of several organizations. I was marching
Hmm.
when we were on strike out here in California a couple years ago,
Hmm.
and the whole thing with
Yeah.
AI stuff.
Yeah.
And so, but I'm learning that there's several AI programs like Suno, which is for music, and it is enough that are actually really helpful. And just in terms
Mhm.
of just, I need an opening sequence for a
Mhm.
podcast. I need
Mhm.
17 seconds of music. I know, go to somebody. I don't need that. I don't need all that. I just need
Mhm.
17 seconds of music instead of going to YouTube and trying to find
Mhm.
uncopyrighted, non-copyrighted.
Yeah.
It's just like it's still original stuff. It's still
Yeah.
something that's new.
Mhm.
So I'm learning myself, Jenna, how to
Mhm.
give into the robots and submit. To give in and use it in a way that's, I'm still busy as an organizer. I'm still working.
Mhm.
Trust me,
Mhm.
everyone need it, but I'm also streamlining some of my work.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing for me is it's a help me get unstuck machine is really what I have found it to be most helpful is I get stuck a lot because as a business owner, as a marketing person, I'm constantly like, how do I combat this problem? It could be personal, it could, it's like I just go and ask it. And I actually like the talk to speech or the speech to text feature where you can just talk to it because otherwise it takes me forever to type it out. So I think a lot of people don't know that there's even a desktop app version. So you can actually download it to your desktop. So that's the one I use the most is the one on my computer.
Yeah,
But I also use it on my phone on the go. I'll be at a restaurant and people will ask a question and I'll just go to Chat GPT. Instead of Googling, I will just go to Chat GPT and ask. And I think that is a huge shift in our culture. And I'm seeing more and more people doing it. So it is really becoming the go-to result machine for a lot of people. And I really think that it's just you have to kind of understand it now. Otherwise you're going to be left behind. And
I know.
that's just kind of what
I
I'm learning.
Jenna, I'm giving in. Man. No, my thing, I'll tell you exactly where it helped me recently. I needed, I create podcasts and stuff, and I
Mhm.
needed a name.
Oh yeah,
I'm like,
that's what I got it my podcast name from it too. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it comes in handy. I type in, we'll talk about that in a second. Because people
Yeah.
ask, how do you use it? We'll talk about that part in a second. But
Mhm.
I typed in what I needed. It came up with 10 names. We
Mhm.
all voted on. We're like, that's the one. It's like,
Mhm.
but also, folks, to tell you too, even though they may come up with names for you, it may not even be the names. It may be pieces of name. You might go, I like the beginning of that
Yes.
and the end of
Yes.
that. The brain power is still there.
So what I do, and when I did the exact same thing, but I spent about 3 hours on ChatGPT trying to, because what I would do is I would just say, I kind of like that. And then I would ask it more questions. It would
Yeah,
give more answers.
yeah.
And it literally, I'm not kidding, it took me about 3 hours of straight just being like, okay, tweak that. There's too many letters or that's too many words. And then, so my podcast is called the Optimization Toolbox, and it took me a really, really, really long time but now I've had it for almost 2 years, and it's one of my favorite names, and I don't plan on changing it soon because I really spent the time choosing the name that I felt like fit what I was trying to do.
Yeah, you're still working. Like you're still
Yeah,
working. I mean, like 3 hours is
exactly.
work.
Yeah, for sure.
You're
And
still working.
it's also using my brain to be like, I like that. I don't like I never just accept the first answer is what I think you have to learn is like you might like it, but if you're not like, oh my God, I'm sold, you have to keep pushing it to be like, okay, I kind of like that. So I think talking to it and pushing back is a skill that you have to also practice is like just because it gives you one answer you really have to be better at they call it prompting like
Yeah.
AI prompting. That's kind of a new skill. It's something I've gotten a lot better at is the more you give as a prompt, the better the results will be. So if you just write out a sentence, it's probably not going to do as well as if you write it super, super, super detailed. And then also giving it feedback and saying, it's not quite right. Keep trying or give me more answers or keep like literally it'll just keep searching for new things.
Because the thing is, I know when it first started, it was a little wooden.
Yeah.
Now the programs are starting to sound like people. So I think
Yeah.
with this prompting thing, which we'll talk about in a second, it's asking, it wants more of you. It's taking in what
Mm-hmm.
you want, how your thoughts
Yes.
are. So start
Yes.
writing a little more in your style. There's ways you can
Mm-hmm.
do that too. Tell people what prompting is, because if people like so my friends like, I heard this prompt, like
Yeah.
we don't do the right prompts. Sometimes I'm like, okay, so Jenna's going to
Yeah.
tell you what prompting is.
So basically, it's like asking a question that's really detailed. So instead of just saying, come up with a list of content ideas for me and my channel, say, these are the goals that I have. This is the type of views I want. So really write out exactly what you need and say, I'm trying to focus on this, this, and this with the goal of being this, this, and this. Create maybe a full content structure, and maybe I'm a big fan of frameworks. That's actually one of my most important things I use ChatGPT for, is helping me come with acronyms and frameworks that help me. So if you literally watch some of my videos, I have videos where I use a framework, and I just love the fact that it's like, oh, it's an easy, catchy acronym for something that I probably would have never come up with myself. So for me, I use it a lot for acronyms and fun frameworks to help people remember, whatever it is. Like, and I have a list. I've made about over 40 different acronyms from ChatGPT over the last couple months. And I now have them all on Canva, and so I can like reference them and stuff. So I've done a few videos on it. I want to do more on frameworks, because that's honestly one of my favorite things in life, is coming up with some sort of catchy name for things, and then just running my life through frameworks.
Yeah, I like that. I do like that. Yeah. So, folks, what that means for all you folks, the lay person out there, it's what she just. It's basically what it says. It's like you write out exactly what you want.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is. Basically, you're writing. You're saying if it sound, if that's not too many words or anything.
Yeah.
You want, if it's a long sentence, it's a long
Mm-hmm.
sentence. But you're trying to get the closest to what you want, right? That's
Yes.
yeah, yes.
Another thing I like to do is I'll write out what I want to say and then say rewrite this. So that way it's like kind of restructures it. So
Uh,
it's like it's what I said, but in a way that sounds a little better. So that way I still have all the information that I wanted to say, but I'm like, just tweak it. It's kind of like that's like, or just because it still has all the information, it just kind of separates it better and just makes it sound better. And it sounds like me.
yeah. So when you were doing your organization for yourself,
Hmm.
um, and as you're doing your skincare routine too,
Yeah.
so you look it up, you prompt it in, you're like, I need this shelf organized in a way,
Yep.
blah blah. How did it feel? I mean, literally, when you were doing it, you go, wow, when you
Yeah.
got the answer, and you're like, okay, and you start doing it. How did it
I
feel?
loved it because it was like I probably would have never come up with it myself. And it's also it's smarter than me in a sense, right? It knows the right ways to make things look. It's a very intelligent machine. And so for me, I I always have like a picture in my head, but it never like turns out. So it's almost like it's using what all the things I've already purchased. So I've already done the work of gathering the items that I can't use ChatGPT for, but if I like something at a store, I'll buy it. And then I'm like, but I don't know how to make it work together, and the cohesiveness and the design. And it tells me what I should move or what I should remove or what to add. Like, for example, I took a photo of my mantle and I said, what should I add to this? And they're like, you need more greenery. So then I went and found like a plant from the other side of the house and put that there. And they're like, it's better. And it's funny because it will still keep trying to improve. And so at some point you just have to be like, okay, this is as good as it's gonna
Yeah,
get. But
right,
it's just
right.
but at the same time it's way better. And if you look through my posts I did, it's on my Substack, you'll see the before and after pictures, and it's clear like how much better it is, because it's more yeah, cohesive, and just like, especially like the mantle one, it's like at one point it was like all on the right side and it was just really uneven. It was like, oh, there's like better levels of things, and it made more sense cohesively in the look of my fireplace. And I haven't changed it since I did that video, so it's been the same the last couple of months.
Well, I think you have a good point too, folks. That yeah, it'll keep going and going. At some point, you got to
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah.
It's a machine. It's going to keep going,
Yeah.
keep trying to keep improving
Yeah.
over and over again. I'm glad
Hmm.
you said that's a little side. Another side of it too, though. I know ChatGPT and a few other services having a little in the prints. Something sometimes double check certain things when it comes to certain
Yeah.
stuff. It,
Also, I just saw a post this morning on LinkedIn that's like, ChatGPT is going to be so positive that you're going to feel so good that sometimes you're wrong. And sometimes ChatGPT just tries to butter you up a little bit. So you have to know that like it's really, really trying to make you seem like this amazing person. So don't always believe that, because it's always going to try to tell you that you're the best. So I think people are getting a little bit egos with that, but it's like you have to just take everything with a grain of salt when it comes to AI. And I think for me, it's more of a direction rather than an end result. And I think it's really helping me figure out, again, when I get stuck, what's blocking me, like what's the block, I think is really helping it. I use it honestly as a therapist a little bit. Like, it tells me when I share my issues, it like literally breaks down what I'm trying to say, and then that makes me be like, oh, okay, and it gives me new information that maybe I didn't recognize in my own patterns.
so it's funny you say that. My first ever Chat GPT experience was from one of my fans actually.
Mm.
They had sent me to go, Jakes. I was like, what's this Chat GPT? What's going on? And this is like last year sometime, or yeah, or 2 years ago. Well, I can't remember anymore. And they sent me. They asked about me, right about
Mm.
James Lott Jr. And when they sent it to me in an email, I was like, that person sounds great. Who's that? That can't be me. And you're right. It was kind of like it was like I was the greatest person on earth the way that
Yeah.
you wrote it. And I was like, well, some of that's true, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like a hyper version of James Lott Jr. And I started laughing. I think
Mm.
it would agree. I just started laughing. So it's funny you say that. That was my first thing. So I go, who wrote that? He goes, that's what they wrote. That's what ChatGPT wrote
Mm.
about you. And I said, tell me about James Lott Jr. Now, of
Mm.
course, now if I went and said, tell me about James Lott Jr.'s organizing work, or I'm sure it's a little different now, but it was glowing. I mean, I was like, I want to meet
Yeah.
him. I want to meet who that is. I want to meet who that is.
Yes. But you can also tell it to be honest with you. It can
Yeah.
tell you to like tell, so I actually did a exercise. I saw it on TikTok where someone's like, based off of all the things you know about me, write about my biggest strengths and maybe things I don't notice. And I was like, that's cool. But then I did the opposite. I said, okay, well, tell me about my biggest blind spots and weaknesses based off of all the things that you do. So that was really interesting for me to be like, okay, it's actually telling me things I need to work on and it's not being as positive. So really, if you tell ChatGPT how to talk to you, it could be sassy, it could be, snarky. Like there's lots of ways that you can literally tell ChatGPT like how you want to talk it to talk to you. That can impact the results for sure.
I feel like it's not going away, folks.
No.
I mean, I just think that people are wishing those go away or not or fail somehow.
It's like the start of the internet. When the internet first came around, a lot of people were like, "Oh, this is going to be a fad."
Right?
I don't see that with AI. I think that like crypto might have been a fad, but I think AI is not a fad, you know?
I'm
Yeah.
it's too tied into everything. I think it's
Yeah.
crypto is like trying to create a whole other currency. That's a little different, I think. But I
And
think
there's
you're
too
right.
much scammers with that too. So I'm
Yeah,
like,
but I
yeah.
think you're right. It's just more on the lines of the internet. I mean, seriously,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
anything like when you got cell phones, like got
Yeah, for
cellular phone.
sure.
It's all the same
Hmm.
thing. My first cell phone was a big block that I had to open it up
Yeah.
and pull the antenna out.
Yeah. My parents had that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little
So,
crazy, and I
yeah.
couldn't work on it. I couldn't use it after a certain time. It cost money.
Hmm.
It was crazy. And the internet
Yeah.
with the little DVD or CD-ROM,
Hmm. I
put it.
remember that. I remember that. Hmm.
Well, yes, it's not. Okay, so a little bit about you because I'm fascinated by you because I want people to know she does videos on everything.
Hmm.
And her bangs, doing her bangs.
I just got bangs. Yes. If you're
Yeah,
watching a
I was
video.
watching that movie. I love it. Skincare, all kind of ADHD. She does all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Um, I love that your channel is basically it's all about that,
Hmm.
about optimizing your life in many
It
different
is.
forms. How
I
do you
I
how do you fall into that? How do you fall into that?
I've just always been really interested in improving things, and I've always wanted to be a YouTuber since I was
Okay.
15 years old. I started making videos at 15. It was on a different channel. I was just playing around. I wasn't on camera. I was just like posting like edits, and then when I was in high school, I had to make a decision. What am I going to go to school for? Like, what is my degree going to be in? And I was like, I really like making videos. And my mom's like, well, maybe you should go to school for that. And I was like, okay. So I went to school for media production, and then I did a internship in LA, and I
Yes.
actually worked in Burbank. So
Yeah.
it's called the Los Angeles Film Study Center,
Yes.
and it was very eye-opening to me to see what the film industry is like. But then I realized I'm like, I don't know if I want to live in LA. So then I come back to Minnesota, and I'm like, well,
Ask you. Yeah.
now what do I do with this video? That people don't make movies here, you know? So I was like, what do I do living in Minnesota with it? So I started off in wedding videos. So I started making wedding videos, yeah, like about 10 years ago. And then I started doing more social media content. And then at that time I started my channel in 2014, but I was just doing it kind of on the like, every once in a while I'd post a video just to kind of for fun. And then I had a podcast as well, which I still have to this day. I started that about 2017, but it wasn't until the pandemic hit 2021-ish that I was like, I really want to like go back to YouTube and really focus on that. So that was around the time I discovered Notion, which is one of the main tools I use on my channel. And so I thought, you know what, I'm just going to make my channel like a Notion channel. And so I started posting a ton of Notion content over the last like couple years. That's what grew my channel, as well as ADHD content. So I kind of did both of those at the same time. And then what I did was I kind of combined them. So I started a Facebook group called Notion for ADHD. And so a lot of people that have ADHD like to use Notion. There's about 5,000 members in that group. And so I grew that. I became the first Minnesota Notion ambassador. And then I started kind of expanding my content beyond just those two topics. I kind of got bored of both of those. I was like, okay, I've done a lot of Notion videos. I've done a lot of ADHD videos.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really even, I'm a marketer. So what, I need to do other things too. So I kind of started doing some health, mental health, started doing stuff on, I recently was diagnosed autistic. I've been on a weight loss journey, skincare journey, so it's like I've just kind of expanded beyond those two topics. And now I'm kind of at this point where I'm like, now I have a ton of different topics that I cover. So now I'm just like, okay, Chat GPT. I've done a couple AI videos; those have done well. I'm just kind of experimenting now to see like what videos people like. Google Photos has been actually a really popular one on my channel. Is how to organize Google Photos.
Yeah, yeah.
So as you guys do home organization, I love digital organization. So how to organize your computer, how you organize your emails, how to organize your photos. Like that has become a passion of mine that I like to teach because there's not a lot of people teaching it. And yet we all have computers and phones that get extremely, disorganized. And for me, I think that's the thing that I have been trying to figure out for myself, like what is the main like thing. But what I found is it's optimization, and all those include optimization. So that's why my podcast name works,
Yeah.
is how to optimize your health, how to optimize your business, how to optimize your digital organization, how to optimize your mental health. And so then I'll just come up with a topic on all those things. So that's kind of a quick story of me. And then my day job, I guess, is my business. So I help small businesses in my town create video content. So that's kind of what I mostly do to make money, I guess.
I'm impressed by you. No, seriously impressed. No, I seriously, I saw your channel, folks. Your channel's the bomb, and I think we're similar in the way we offer a lot of content, different content.
Yeah.
I think
Mm-hmm.
they always say, just do one thing and that's it. And for some people, that's fine.
I'm
No,
multi-passionate.
same here. Same here.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah. No, that we are. The whole point is that we're multi-passionate, multi-hyphenates. There's a lot of people who are like us who have multi-interests. That's why they come to our channels because there's so many different things going on for them too.
Yeah.
That you're like
Yep.
you're the same. You're doing the same thing. You're the same way.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Exactly.
It's fine.
I think that that's okay. And I think I that's why I call my business name my name. So my name is Jenna Redfield, and people are like, "What's your business name?" I'm like, "It's my name because I'm going to change my business every like 2 years, and it's going
Yeah.
to be something completely different." So as long as it's under my name, people know it's me,
Yeah.
and they know whatever I'm working on now is what I'm working on now. So I don't I that was the struggle with coming up with a name for my podcast, was I want it to be something that it's not super specific. It's the optimization toolbox can mean so many things because I do so many things. And if it was just, I think at one point it was like, yeah, it was like digital organization or something. And I'm like, but that's so specific. And I'm like, what if I change my mind and I do an interview with someone here, whatever. I feel like I needed a name that was more general. And so that's why I chose that name. And I haven't regretted that name at all.
Same here. I changed my name after a year. I had my show to the SOS show because I said we're here to help.
Yeah,
SOS
I love that.
help.
That's great. And it's
Right.
and I love how general that is because that could
Yeah.
be in any way,
Anyway, right.
Yeah.
So you and
Yeah.
I are kindred spirits, I think. We have a lot in common
Nice.
there. I mean, no, but the thing is, I mean, the world is, as we start to wrap this up, the world is multi. It's not just one thing.
Yeah.
And so I think you and I are tapping into that. And I just appreciate that you're like saying, okay, folks, here's my adventures. Here's what I'm finding. I'm going to share.
Yeah.
You like me, I'm going to share it with you. You do what you will with it. But I think I want to say out loud to my industry, the organizing industry, gotta get on it, I think, on some level, because we're usually forward thinking. We did the whole virtual organizing for a while during the pandemic. We had to pivot on that too. This is another form. I guess like another form of organization.
Yeah. And I think people can use it in so many ways, and especially business owners. I'm seeing so many business owners benefit because it's like it's resources at your fingertips. And I really think one thing I've recently switched to is Substack, which I highly recommend for every content creator to use because it's email marketing, blog posts, and you can embed your YouTube videos, you can create a podcast. But that has been really helpful for me to come up with ideas for that also like integrate all together. So I've just been a huge fan of just some of the newer technologies that have come out in the last couple of years that I wish had come out 10 years ago because it would have saved me a lot of time and energy. So I feel like Chat GPT is something that I wouldn't be scared of it, but also don't give it all your personal information is what I've learned. Like, don't give it too much stuff because it will save it. It is something that like it is, we don't know. It's great for more general things that maybe aren't as personal. So I would be, if you're doing anything really, really personal, do the temporary chat, which won't save it. So just to know, like if you're nervous about like, oh, I don't want to give it all my information, do the temporary chat. And then, but it does save a lot of information about you, which is helpful for you. But then just know that they may be taking that in as well. So just be careful, just like the internet safety, just don't do anything that you were gonna be like, here's my social security number and all this
Right.
stuff. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm just saying, like,
No, right, no,
just
right. I'm kidding.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, or address or something. You're
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
But she said you're saying something that's, and I would say she, but you are saying something that's
Yeah.
correct. That it's, and also like I said, there's a little print that says you have to fact check a couple of things. You may have to.
Hmm.
So if you're not sure about something, then go to check it out. I mean, don't be afraid to check it out. I mean,
Yeah, and go to like I've been using it for a lot of health stuff. So interpreting test results, I'll upload a image and be like, "Can you explain this to me?" But then if you need more help, go to a doctor. So it's like don't
yeah,
just
right.
rely on Chat GPT for like this is 100% true. It's a good place to start. It's a starting point for maybe seeing patterns and things that you didn't know and then doing further research on your own because I do think that the one thing I am worried about with ChatGPT is the younger generations are not going to know how to find things themselves. I obviously didn't have ChatGPT in high school or
Right,
college and
right,
most of my
yeah.
adult life, so I did learn how to do that. But these younger kids are going to be like, just look it up on ChatGPT, and then if something happens to ChatGPT, it's like they don't know how to find the information they need. So just making sure that you are also still keeping your skills sharp with other things is going to be helpful in the long run as well.
It's a very smart thing to say too, because as I'm older than you are, I remember
Mm-hmm.
actually looking at encyclopedias and stuff. I would
Mm,
go to a library, and I'm like, oh,
yeah.
we don't do that anymore either. Like we don't need to do that anymore.
Hmm. Yeah.
So yes, I mean, so I think that's very smart. Jenna, you're the bomb. You are just like,
Oh,
I
thank
am very
you.
impressed with you. I think that you are you're the now. You are the now, the
Mm,
present. And I want people to follow you. So I'm gonna put everything in the description. But I want you to tell
okay.
people to get a chance on where can they follow you.
Yeah, so my main two probably to follow is my YouTube channel. So it's my name, Jenna Redfield, if you just search my name on YouTube, and then my Substack, which actually gets sent out every week, jennaredfield.substack.com. That basically every time I publish a YouTube video, I also send it as an email so that you get notified. Otherwise, sometimes on YouTube, the algorithm doesn't always show all my videos. So this way, it's like you actually get an email that tells you, hey, I have a new video out. If you want to check it out, here it's embedded in the email. You can click and literally click play and watch. I found that to be helpful for people if they're like ADHD and don't remember to, go back to my channel. It's like, oh, you get an email and you just have to open the email and check it out. And there's more information in that email than just beyond the YouTube video. So I add pictures and so there's actually a post if you want to look at the post that he's referencing. There's a whole Substack article about it where I show pictures, I add links. So that's also available on my Substack.
Yeah, she does. She shares with you what to do. So, folks, I say
Yeah.
go do it. Go check
Yes.
her out. Of course,
Yeah.
you can follow me at lottahelp.com. Super Organizers on every single streaming service platform, of course, and so is James Lott Jr. And I want to thank you guys I want to thank Jennifer for being on the show. I want to thank all of you for watching and listening because I'm an audio listeners. I love you guys. And I'll see you next Monday. Bye.